A Hairier Problem, Rise of the Furball, by Blue Bastard. Chapter 1. And of us today, do today. In the land of Equestria, there are many holidays, but not as important or widely followed as the anniversary du Soleil, birthday of the sun. No planet would dare fail not to celebrate the day Princess Celestia was issued forfeit to the world. While Celestia herself wasn't too far fond of the extra level of attention, her secret obsession for cake was indulged since bakers from all over Equestria sent their finest cakes to her, while everything else sent its birthday present. This year would be a little different. In addition to the usual fanfare and secret cake gorging, entertainers from all over the country have banded together to put on a special one-time event to be held in Camelot for their beloved princess and family. Virtually overnight, on the eve of the anniversary du Soleil, a carnival sprung up at Camelot Fairgrounds, a gigantic yellow-blue tent forming the centerpiece of a tarp-topped town. While surrounding sales functioned like a conventional marketplace, the actual show was inside the biggest tent, the main draw. Word having been spread months before of the one-in-a-lifetime event, tickets had been sold out for weeks, and the only way to get a seat was to try and beg a friend to give up their ticket. Or, conversely, to have Princess Celestia herself invite the ponies closer to her and their families as guests in her private VIP box. "Oh, this is gonna be so fun!" Pinkie exclaimed, bouncing up and down with excitement. "I, for one, can't believe this is all going to be able to put up overnight. Severity, I mean, Tiara and not a large city overnight, and to put on all A-list performance without a single rehearsal. I know these ponies must be confident in their abilities, but even then, a no rehearsal show in front of the princesses." "I'm sure they all rehearse this non-stop," replied Twilight Sparkle. "Just because it's all so sunny here doesn't mean it's a spur-of-the-moment thing. Tickets for this event went on sale months ago. He must have been practicing some located miles away from here, maybe in the desert near Appaloosa." Rarity just rolled her eyes. "Yes, that's a logical answer, darling, but that also takes away from the fantastical nature of all this." Currently, the 6 friends from Ponyville, plus Spike, were making their way through the fantastic carnival, seeing the sights and getting all kinds of swag. At various other places in the carnival, the families of the main 6 were also having their own adventures. They all meet at the entrance to the great tent around showtime, where they were joined the princesses to watch the great show. Twilight was nervous, as she usually was around her mentor. This time she had the extra problem of wings, which, even months after getting used to, were still prone to open up randomly. They did so now, accidentally hitting Applejack in the face. "Ah! Sorry, Applejack, didn't mean to do that," apologized Equestria's 4th princess as he folded her wings back. "It's alright, Twilight," replied the orange mare. "Not every pony has to deal with managing something like becoming an alicorn. Although, from what you're told us about that weird place on the other side of the mirror, getting wings is probably easier than putting on a completely separate body." "You can say that again," grumbled Spike, walking alongside the air ponies. "I got turned into a dog. A dog! Having pretend I couldn't talk, right on Twilight's back in some kind of pouch, and generally being treated like some kind of freak when I did anything while standing on 2 legs. You have no idea what that's like." Rainbow raised an eyebrow. "Oh, I think Applejack probably has the best idea of all of us in terms of what it was like to turn into a dog," she snickered. Applejack saw an evil look at her blue-haired counterpart. "Am I amazing that you still look delicious enough to eat, Reyes?" said the farmer, looking at her lips hungrily. Rainbow, in response, seemed to have all her colors turned several shades lighter as she froze in place. Everybody else laughed, much to RD's embarrassment. "Not cool, Applejack," chided Rainbow, trying to salvage her daughter's pride. She then brought into a side embrace by laughing at Applejack. "Oh, come on, Rainbow. It's almost been a year since then. If there was any chance that I still was a werewolf, don't you think that you or any of us would have noticed by now?" "Yeah, I would have noticed before anybody else," said Pinkie, popping out of a bucket full of dolls made to resemble ponies in Jester's outfits. "I would have noticed your breath would smell really, really bad, like all you eat was meat and stuff." "Ugh, don't remind me," complained Princess Sparkle, looking slightly green in the face. "I still can't believe I'd like to meet so much on the other side of the mirror. Seriously, how did you cope with such a thing during your, rough patch, so to speak, Applejack?" "I don't really know, to be honest. Probably was just the whole lycanthropy thing messing with my taste buds. Worst part was how I could still taste the last meat burger I ate about 2 weeks after being cured. It's sickeningly I ate so much dead animal and was stuck inside my mouth." "No kidding," agreed Twilight.
Oh, we better be careful. I think it's getting close to showtime. So, we can make our way to the big tent. If that's okay with you, I mean,
said Fluttershy. Well, Lacey, they might be late for the start of the show. The 6 ponies and 1 dragon took off to find the nearest entrance. It would never do to be part of Twilight Princess's parades and be tardy to this event. Within the tent was an area which could encompass a small stadium. Hundreds of ponies had already found their way inside to their seats, while many more were waiting to get their tickets punched. The upper classes complained about the lack of VIP options that would speed the process up, and to wait in line with the less wealthy, commoner ponies. But the truth was that the expected audience was so great that the only VIP section could be made was for the birthday mare herself.
Oh, I do hope every pony will get a good view of the show,
said worried Celesta, ever the benevolent figure to her sister.
Steady.
I'm sure every pony can get a good view from their seat. The tickets were expensive enough to justify that much, replied Luna, who was apparently more concerned about the security force stationed at key traffic locations, rather than the clowns moving among and mingling with the seated audience. The rest of the main 6 and their families were also comfortably sitting in the royal VIP box. I like how they would sit together during such events. This time they sat apart with their own respective families. The CMC, in contrast, were crowded together at the ends of the box 5 wides, waiting for the show to start.
Oh yes, she's just like Rainbow when she was young,
said Firefly to Flower Shower. Well, Scootaloo wasn't directly related to one of the main 6 compared to her CMC counterparts, being the direct younger siblings of Applejack and Rarity. Rainbow has taken Scoots under her wing as a kind of sister figure, and as such, Celestia had insisted the parents of the Orange Filly come along with Rainbow's parents to the great performance.
That's good to hear,
Flower replied.
So Dream and I used to worry about that. Because of our general absence in her life, we couldn't guide her as much as proper parents should, so she ended up with the wrong kind of ponies. It was a relief to learn about her making friends and forming a little club of theirs, but even more so when Rainbow offered to be a surrogate big sister to Scoots. Especially since there's that other problem with my little filly, still struggling to fly.
Hey, she's just a late bloomer, that's all. Even though I'm to blame for my daughter's speed addiction with my legacy as the fastest flyer to ever come out of Cloudsteel. I was probably 2 years older than Scootaloo when I finally managed to lift off under my own power, so I know what she's going through must be rough.
No, it's not that,
murmured Flower, looking away as if she was going to say next, leaning to whisper Firefly's ear, Flower in tone.
The real reason why my poor daughter can't do anything more than hover is
the blaring of the trumpets and dimming of the lights signaled to the now fully packed audience that the show was going to begin. Flower made a will talk layer face and turned to face the stage right as a heavily clothed stallion took the stage, its defining features hidden under a large top hat and red coat. It became evidently clear that he was the ringmaster of the Cirque du Soleil, the main sponsor and organizer of the event. As he began to speak,
Mares and stallions, fillies and colts, to ponies of all ages, I welcome you to tonight's special exhibition of the finest performers Equestria has to offer, all in celebration of Princess Celestia's birthday.
IQ, a spotlight swung over to illuminate the royal VIP box, so deeply blessing Celestia. The entire audience erupted into cheers, claps for the Regis. The ringmaster waited for the noise to die down before continuing.
Now, without further ado, let's get this show on the road.
From the get-go, the show was a spectacular marvel what ponies could do. There were entertainers from every kind of performance giving their all to please the princess. The rodeo-like spectacle, starring the Great Calamity Mane and Wild Bull Hickok, the Flying Grey Mares, the best Earth Pony trapeze artists, flew through the air as they had been born Pegasus ponies and left the audience awestruck. Wait, the Flying Grey Mares? Make sure that trapeze hasn't been tampered with! Afternoon began to blend into night, with Luna having to temporarily leave to race the moon, secretly admitting later that she was so glad to do so during the period when the comedian wordplay said some unintentionally insulting things about how much he disliked the night, with the crowd barely being able to get a break between cheering for the pony performers, Celestia included. However, when the last act ended and the stage cleared, there was no indication that the show was over, at least until the ringleader shambled on stage. He appeared to have great difficulty moving in all his clothes all of a sudden, stumbling about in a convenient way that some ponies couldn't help but laugh at. Everybody else was confused. What was going on? Was the ringleader suddenly drunk? Why was he acting like such a fool in front of all the princess of all ponies? However, as soon as the ringleader finally managed to get to the center of the stage, it was about to say something. Another pony dressed in the exact same clothes ran into the open.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, imposter?
The crowd was shocked at this revelation. An imposter, the ringleader, and the Cirque du Soleil? Why in Equestria would any pony try to do that? He managed to do it so horribly that he hadn't even incapacitated the real ringleader. Those were questions going through Luna's head as she started to motion for security to handle the matter. Miss Celestia stopped her. It's okay, Lulu. Celestia assured her sister in a hushed whisper, as did not alarm anybody else. What are you talking about? Responded Luna angrily, in the same whispered volume. He could be an assassin for all we know. A very, very bad one, admittedly, but one all the same. Unless he's here to kill us with laughter, I highly doubt that is the case. I ask again, sister, what are you talking about? Look, do those two look like they are dazzily doing something staged? It's clearly all an act, my dear sister. Celestia motioned to the stage, where the ringleader was arguing with his duplicate. So the duplicate was not responding loud enough for any pony except the presumably ringleader himself to hear. Luna watched the actions closely, and had to admit that both ponies were moving in a practiced manner. Extremely convincing that this wasn't rehearsed, but to some pony trained to detect such movement to avoid actual would-be assassins, Luna knew better. Furthermore, the Sun Princess added, just look at Pinky for your answer. Following Celestia's suggestion, Luna turned to see the pink pony. While every other pony in the VIP box had expressions mixed with shock and amusement, Pinky's face was downright serious. At least as serious as Pinky got. With half-lit eyes and a knowing grin, Luna immediately realized that whatever was going on downstage, Pinky was watching intently as if waiting for something. That something soon occurred as the argument in front of thousands of ponies reached its climax.
Alright, so you sold the turkey to the dressmaker. We're finally clear on that mark. But for the last time, I must ask, what the hey are you trying to pretend to be me?
The pony seemed to whisper something to the ringleader. You want to ask them a question? The pony nodded.
Well then, out with it!
Suddenly, the mysterious stallion began to turn to the VIP box. All eyes on him. Then, with a motion so fast that some ponies would be jealous, he moved one hoof and appeared to rip off his clothes. It was a question that got everybody's attention. Alright, who's ready to laugh? Carl erupted in a wild cheer. Every single member of the audience reinvigorated from the drain of sitting through such a long performance. Gone was the mysterious fake leader from earlier. In his place stood a true legend of comedy, Poniachi, the greatest clown in equestrian history. He stood before the masses. What truly made his presence special was that every single performer except him had been listed in the promotional material for this event, along with the little exception for him to have been on the ticket in the first place, due to his semi-retirement some time ago due to health complications. But for him to take a surprise appearance as what had to be that last act, and all the stops were being pulled out, and this event would truly end with a bang. Pinky, I thought Poniachi had stopped performing and had... started Twilight, who turned to discover her own local comedian had vanished. What did she do? Asked Rarity, finally removing her fancy viewfinder to look at Twilight. The rest of the VIP box was of the same questioning opinion. While Pinky's tendency to randomly disappear and break offense to the laws of nature was nothing new, it was a worry now since Poniachi was revered by Pinky as the avatar of comedy itself. Whatever she might do in his presence could be a national embarrassment. Wait, did I hear it? Asked Lady Bell, mostly to the stage. Indeed, now next to Poniachi was a similarly dressed mare, her true birth colors disguised by heavy makeup. But her big blue eyes and bushy mane were telltale signs of her involvement. As it would turn out, Pinkie Pie, or she was introduced to the crowd, Scaramucci, was Poniachi's assistant to help him through his own set of acts. The biggest role, though, was being tied to a vertical reel that spun clockwise. The crowd was stunned for this next act. Poniachi would not only be throwing knives at the spinning wheel, but throwing them at his assistant blindfolded, while doing acrobatic tricks. In a few minutes would see the audience rapidly change from gas to applause, back to gas as Poniachi juggled knives, while bouncing it back to the bouncy ball, occasionally throwing a knife and barely missing Pinky. For her part, Pinky was simply smiling with confidence as what had to be razor-sharp knives flew by, bending themselves into a spinning board mere centimeters from her body. Then, while doing a one-legged host down the ball, Ponyasi threw his last knife on his tail, hitting the board right above Pinky's head to the point it disappeared on her mane. In response, the crowd roared with delight. That was the end of Ponyasi's performance. The rest of the crowd was enraptured by an amazing display of sleight of hand tricks, combined with multiple party cannons. The attention of 3 specific fillies was turned inward. To them, Ponyasi and Pinky had already given them the next surefire idea for their cutie marks.
Uh-oh.
1 week later. Applejack! Upon hearing her name, the far pony went from the fields to the homestead, regretting to have waved on his eyebrow. Yes, Gray?
I know you might still be having some of your issues with that whole werewolf thing from a few months back. I don't remember saying you ever had a favorite pearl of silver or anything made from it.
What are you talking about, LeGrand?
Don't you know? I thought you had some bad thing involving silver during that period of yours. After all, isn't silver supposed to be bad for werewolves?
I don't see what that has to do with Mike, Granny.
My knives! My silver knives! They're missing!
Applejack was surprised. Look, you think I took them?
Well, now that I think about it, you probably weren't the one who took them since it was all my good gut knives that went missing, not just silver ones.
Granny, Applejack flatly began. Why would I want to steal or hide your kitchen knives? I never had need of them for outside cooking, and I'll never take them out of the kitchen.
Yeah, fun there, Yicken,
replied Granny, stroking her chin.
but you didn't take them, and I know Big Mac would have done something too.
Applejack didn't need an answer before she immediately ran off to the CFC's clubhouse. She seemed to bring in some lumber supplies left over for the remodeling of Carousel Boutique, and the damage for the Cerberus attack had almost completely destroyed Rarity's house. With a poorly drawn circle outline on one big flat piece of wood, Applebloom was the only unaccounted family member who would even know where the knives had been. A busted knives plus a generous amount of wood would mean only one thing. One very, very bad thing.
Are you sure about this?
Squeaked Sleep Bell, who was slowly spinning like a sideways frisbee.
Yeah, come on, Scoots. Sleepbell, it can't be that bad,
replied Scoots, who was slowly walking on a treadmill.
I'm sorry we tried to find knife throwing. We'll get our key markers to her,
replied Applebloom, whose seizures her main bow had been converted to a blindfolded source. Right in front of the CMC clubhouse, the trio had constructed an extremely crude copy of the spinning wheel you see Pinky strapped to, back in Ponyasi's surprise act. Sleepbell, having taken the place of Pinky, was carried firmly into the not quite round backing of the wheel. Skill was powering the wheel on a treadmill, borrowed from the Apple Cider's making machine, although she needed an anchor point simply so she could push her with her hind legs. Finally, Applebloom would be playing the role of Ponyasi, the borrowed knives all together in one giant box next to her.
No, what I'm talking about is how we're not doing this exactly like Ponyasi.
Playing out Sleepbell.
I mean, was he blindfolded while doing acrobatic tricks on a bouncy ball? Well, you need to build up to date with birthdays. That's why I'm only going to start out with a blindfold. If all goes well, we should be able to bring the ball in tomorrow when we're ready. Oh, okay.
Chirped the tiny unicorn. It blew most of her school to give it her all. And she did. With all her might, Pegasus managed to make the wheel spin slightly faster and wobblier, which did not improve Sleepbell's sudden feeling of nausea.
Alright, here we go.
Applebloom announced, lowering the blindfold over her eyes and feeling around for a knife handle. She found one, proceeding to rear up in preparation of throwing the knife. However, just as she was starting to throw, "Girls, what on earth are you doing?" screamed Applejack, barreling at top speed towards the CMC. The suddenly billowing from her older sister startled the yellow filly, causing her to fumble to toss and let it go far too early. The result was that the knife did not fly towards the restrained sweetie. It was spun in the air before coming back down, not even going a few inches. However, as it came down, the razor heads came into contact with Applebloom. It cut deep, leaving a nasty blade gasp before it hit the ground. "Ah!" screamed the unfortunate filly, falling to her side as he clutched at the wound. Since he was surrounded by 2 orange ponies, the older Earth and the younger Pegasus. "Skylu, go get the first aid kit for the barn!" ordered Applejack, immediately tending to her younger sister's wounds.
But I don't know where it would be in the barn.
A scared Scoots answered back.
Halfway inside, just below the hook where I keep my ropes.
With that, the Pegasus retrieved her scooter and zoomed away. Applejack looked away from the wounded apple, just to make sure her scooter was doing what she was told, before returning to the wounded tending. She wanted to yell at her sister for being this dumb, for even thinking of trying something this dangerous would be easy, and her cutie mark. She wanted to yell at all three of the CMC, but scaring them would not mend this gas. It's gonna be okay, Bluey. It's gonna be okay, soothed Applejack, limiting the bleeding foreleg to cut to let the blood flow. Applebloom, still blindfolded, could only nod in response. Tears clearly an indicator of pain. It was a very bad injury, possibly requiring stitches in a Ponyville General, but until a bandage of some sort was applied, Applejack knew Billy could not be safely moved. Thankfully, Scootaloo quickly returned with the first aid kit. Rapidly, Applejack took the kit and pulled out the wrap bandages and scissors. The leading end of the bandages looked gnarled and nasty and would need to be cut off. Yet, in her hurry to catch up Applebloom, Applejack fumbled the scissors and managed to cut herself in the process. "I'll!" whimpered Applejack, waving her injured limb back and forth. Unlike Applebloom's gas, the mire cut in Applejack's own foreleg was extremely minor. That being said, it did bleed a little bit, and when the straw-maned apple farmer was seeking her foreleg, a single tiny drop of her blood bled from the cut and was set flying due to the motion of the foreleg. As fate would have it, the blood droplet would fall right into the blazed part of Applebloom's injury, where it went deep enough to be drawn into the filly's bloodstream all the way to the heart to be pumped elsewhere. Nobody present would notice the blood dropping scenes. It was too small and too fast for an occurrence to notice. Applejack was too concerned with the bandages, and Scootaloo was too nervous about not being able to do anything to ease her friend's pain, other than taking Applebloom's good foreleg hoof and soothing her. Applejack soon had the nasty bandage end cut off, the good bandage wrapped around the gash. "Alright, until you get her back to the house," said Applejack, trying to figure out how to do that. "Maybe we can put her in the wagon. I'll haul her up with my scooter," suggested Scootaloo. A little else to work with. Applejack had to agree, so Applebloom, stretched her on wheels, was hauled via Scootaloo back to the house. Applejack was about to follow before Sweetbelle finally spoke up.
Applejack? I'm leaving down from here.
As it turned out, she ended up upside down on the wheel.
I'm getting dizzy all of a sudden.
AC wasted no time getting Sweetbelle down, bucking the entire contraption in order to break it, just as certain CMC did. Try that again! Taking the box of knives with the bloody knife wrapped in bandages so it wouldn't contaminate the other knives with her, so they wouldn't be randomly lying around. The farmer and the unicorn took off to follow Scootaloo in her wounded passenger.